the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening and welcome to the Sim500 Foreign Entertainment Group round number 4 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Joining me in the booth tonight, John Mushton. I am Ben Kilcrease, Mitch Rollo down in the production van, getting the picture that you see to you. And here we go, John, the first mile and a half of the season, and it's on tap for us here tonight. This is not the biggest track we've been to. We started off at Daytona, but we were at Rockingham and Richmond. Now we kind of get to what the NASCAR community calls the cookie cutters here in Homestead, a mile and a half.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking to me? I was looking for my sunscreen. My bad. That's right, Ben. We're at our first, so-called cookie cutter, but when you look at this track's layout, it looks nothing like Atlanta, Charlotte, or Texas at all. It's just basically like a Martinsville on steroids is what I would compare it to. It's got the differentiated banking, or whatever they call that, where you got different degrees of banking in the turns. We've been watching practice tonight, Ben. We've been watching guys run up high, down the middle, down low, and all of them turn some really good, fast laps. It looks like qualifying pole is going to be a 31.974, sir, and that is blazing.
And it is a full field on tap, which has been the case all season long here in the Sim500 Entertainment Group KN Series. And you mentioned some of the track facts there. Let's look at them as we pull up the GoPro track facts. Homestead is where we're at tonight. 4 turns here. The start-finish line right smack in the middle of the front stretch. A mile and a half with 18 to 20 degrees of progressive banking, John, and you mentioned it. We've seen the guys all the way up against the wall and then all the way down to the apron. So multi-groove racing going to be aplenty here tonight in South Florida.
I'll tell you what, Ben, this is going to be a great race, I think. Indeed, we do have a full 43-car field, which I don't think we've actually seen since Daytona. And but on this track, you got multiple grooves to work with. It's a big, wide track, and I think by now, 4 races in, these guys have gotten used to each other. Being around each other, knowing who drives how, which way, who's overly aggressive, who's kind of nice and lets people go by at the right time. So I think we'll have a good race tonight. I really do.
46,000 fans can file in here to the Homestead Miami Speedway and have been doing so since it opened back in 1995. One of the fairly newer circuits on the NASCAR schedule as of late. Going to give a big shout out to Justin Fuller, putting it in victory lane last week at Richmond Raceway there. It's an absolute spectacular race. Couldn't have asked for a better show at the 3/4 mile up in Virginia. Tonight's race, John, 100 laps, 150 miles. One of the longer races so far of the season. The short tracks would do less mileage. They may have more laps, but as far as mileage goes tonight, Homestead going to be one of the longest we've seen so far.
That's right, Ben. I think tire wear is going to come into effect. We're looking at a track tip of 104 degrees. That means a slick track. These guys are going to be sliding around a little bit, wearing those tires down, probably a little quicker than they're used to. And, we might see pit stops before fuel run is over, or we might see some guys push it, try to see how long they extend that car's tires out to the end of the fuel run there. Either way, it's going to make for a very exciting race. Very exciting indeed.
It is. We're looking forward to getting the green flag dropped. We're going to do that here shortly. But first, John, let's take a look at the championship standings coming into tonight. Steve Sheehan in control of the field still. He had a rocky start to, not a rocky start to the season, rather a rocky finish last week at Richmond. Did not have the finish, did not have the race he wanted. He lost some points to the rest of the field. Nelson Rivera has closed in to a mere 14 points behind Sheehan. Jonathan Lockhart 16 points back. Mike Kelly, Doug Sigmund. I mean, John, these guys, all the top 10 still in this thing. And not to mention, you know, we're not even a third of the way through the season yet.
Absolutely. Steve had a rough week last week. He got involved in some other people's accidents. You know, it's going to happen on short tracks, and which brings to mind that we have more short tracks in the schedule. So you really want to make the best of these big tracks. Finish as good as you can. Get that cushion built up. 14 points isn't much. And, you know, anything can happen, especially on some of these shorter tracks. You know, the next point I'd like to bring up, Ben, I'm sure you noticed it, but that race for the most laps led for that free computer is right now a three-way tie at the top, but the next two are only 2 points behind.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly keep an eye on that as the weeks progress. Again, you mentioned it there. The free computer up for grabs is the sponsored by the Ford Entertainment Group. Be sure to contact Jeffrey Ford on iRacing or give him a call. You have his email there. Also, find him on Facebook. All you have to do is search the Ford Entertainment Group. Jeff giving away a free computer to the driver with the most completed laps. That computer, John, capable of VR or 3 screens. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Ben Kilcrease, John Washington on the call. Mitch Rollo getting a picture that you see to you. It's round number 4 and the first mile and a half of the season. A full field on tap for you here tonight from Homestead. Let's run them through the starting lineup, John. Here's how we'll do it. Byron Daly has set the quick time, and that number is 08. He'll lead us to the green flag alongside the 42 of David Comstock.
And Anthony DeBarro comes in third in that silver and white Coors Light ride. It's a good-looking car. And in fourth place, we've got Bob Gillenwater, I believe is how you say it, in the Kodak car.
Chad Coleman will be inside of that third row, and the number 20, E.J. O'Rourke, will be to his outside.
And bringing up seventh position, Larry Pace. Larry's been running good these last few weeks. Let's see if we can bring it home. Maybe a top 2, maybe even a win. And then Trey Eidson, it looks like, in 8th place.
So the rest of the starting field will roll across the bottom of your screen there as we get set to go racing here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. John, let's see if we can't dial up a driver here before we go green. Driver of the number 42, he set the outside pole tonight is David Comstock in the number 42. Ben Kilcrease in the SRN broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great. First mile and a half of the season here for the Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series, David. And, well, what's your strategy heading into tonight? It's a long race, 100 laps, 150 miles here at Homestead.
Just keep the car underneath ourselves here. I think it's going to free up as the run goes. So just try to keep track position, stay up front, and not to burn the tires up. And you gotta finish first in order to first finish in order to finish first, right? That's how it goes, right?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, wish you luck in the race, and look forward to talking to you maybe later tonight.
Absolutely, thanks.
Dave Comstock sitting in the outside front row here tonight. John, it's go time here at Homestead.
Yeah, this ought to be a good start. Ben, they're going to bunch them up here coming out of 3 and 4. I tell you what, I look for the leader to probably try and slow these guys down a little bit before the green flag drops, just to throw them off a little bit and get a good jump at the start.
We'll see what happens. 150 miles in sunny South Florida. The green flag is out. Round number 4 underway in Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series action. Look at this pack heading to turn 1.
Oh, they're already going 3 wide back there behind the leader. It looks like the 41 and the 10, and they're going to squeeze it down to 2 wide there. It looks like Daly got a pretty good start, but he's not pulling out too far ahead of the guys in second, third there.
That is not, John. This is going to be we've seen the times in practice. We've seen the competition in practice. These guys are going to be all over each other all race long. It's going to be a close race every lap of this one. Look at E.J. O'Rourke off turn 4 all the way down to the apron he was, John, trying to make up positions early on.
That's what I'm saying, Ben. This track has all kinds of places to make moves, inside, outside, in the middle, up top against the wall. If you can make it work up there, your car is going to love it. I tell you what, O'Rourke was using that highline a lot in practice, so I'm kind of surprised to find him still down low. I guess he's just looking for a spot to jump up there.
There you have it. You see the 10 machine to the outside. He goes all the way up to the wall. Another car mid-pack. I mean, there is 3 wide racing all around. Mile and a half here at Homestead almost. It's Byron Daly out in front, but he's got a challenge from Anthony DeBarro.
I think Anthony was having flashbacks of Daytona there, Ben. He was bump drafting Daly all the way down the front stretch.
Now look at this, John. DeBarro got the run off turn 2, but couldn't do anything with it because Comstock showed his nose there to the inside of that 42, a 3-way battle for the lead. I mean, really and truly, it's about a 14, 15 car battle for the lead. They're all tail to nose, but those 3 cars have separated themselves just a little bit. Back to Chad Coleman in that 20.
I think Chad's just kind of laying back and watching these 3 guys duke it out a little bit, see how it's going to shake out, because these guys are just all over each other right now. But if any one of those 3 makes a mistake, he's going to be there to jump up there and take that lead.
That he is. DeBarro tried to bottom over in 1 and 2, did not work for the 5 machine that time on that end of the speedway. Comstock gets the run to the outside in that number 42. It's all Byron Daly still now as they battle side by side for that second spot. Let's go back to it's about the 14th or so position. Sean Casto is leading a snarling pack of drivers in that number 59. John, look at this pack.
Oh, yeah, they're all bottled up there. I think Castro got loose out of 2 last time by, kind of bottled everybody up there. I mean, we got this pack here. We got another pack up in front of them for what looks like, I think, maybe 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. But these guys aren't cutting each other any quarter at all. No slack given. They want these positions. They want them now. Even though we've still got 90-some-odd laps left in this race, they're fighting like it's the last 5. So this ought to be fun for the rest of the night.
My, oh my, you couldn't ask for better racing here at Homestead. These cars, John, just put on a unbelievable show. The draft package in these things are fun, and the overall handling of the national cars are fun as well, especially on these bigger tracks on the mile and a halves.
Yes, it is, and we got to fight for the lead, Ben. That 47 got a really good, 42 got a really good run off of 2, takes it down the inside going to 3 and 4, but I don't think Daly's going to get up that easily on the outside.
Oh, Comstock with a slight run off to turn, but not able to slide up in front of Daly on the front stretch there. You see Daly gets that run from the outside. He has that momentum, keeps the momentum up. Comstock again will try the bottom. John, I think it's going to be hard to pass somebody on that inside line unless you pull a slide job going off the turn.
Well, if you pull that slide job, though, Ben, you better make doggone sure you're clear, because if not, it's going to result in a crash for the both of you. I just don't think Comstock's going to pull off the pass down there on the inside line, like you said. I don't think he's able to get the kind of run that those guys on the outside line or even in the middle line can get. They don't have to get out of the throttle as much as he does.
Certainly makes for some interesting racing as Comstock looks as though he'll fall back in line behind the 08 and he'll move up to the higher portion of the racetrack. Man, Daly is all the way almost against the wall as we ride on board with DeBarro. He's got a good shot for this battle, John, and he's to the outside of Comstock now, closing on the rear bumper of Daly heading to turn 3. Look at this. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead.
He's been making that middle line work for him the last several laps there, DeBarro has. I've been watching him. He likes that middle line. He doesn't have to give up as much throttle as Comstock does down the inside there. I think he's going to clear Comstock for second place here. Yep, and we got another car coming up to poke his nose in this. Coleman in the 20, and right behind him, the 10 car of Trey Eidson, who we have not talked a whole lot about these last 3 weeks.
Edson, I think it is, pulling his way. Get my producer to confirm that, pulling his way into this now what is a 5-car battle for the lead. And look at these guys. Comstock is going to lose 3 positions in 1 lap, John, because he couldn't get to the outside line. I think the outside line later in these runs is going to be the preferred lane.
Yeah, he wiggled a little bit down there on the inside, Ben coming out of 4, and that's going to cost him some spots. This is going to be a great 5-way race for the lead for the next several laps. I'm sure that these cars do have some fallout, and we should start seeing that here in the next couple of laps. These guys start slowly working their way up to that top line to try and counter that fall off on these tires. In the meantime, we've got a 3-way battle, 3 wide, back there for what looks like the 7th, 8th, and 9th places.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. The battle rages on for the lead, and just in front of, or just behind that 3-way battle, John, is our points leader heading into tonight, Steve Sheehan. Was scored 11th there at the line. He's battling for that 10th spot right now, and he's going to be able to clear Gillenwater off of turn number 2. Sheehan was quickest in practice, John, but has not been able to, wasn't able to produce a good qualifying lap, and has kind of stayed just inside the top 10 the whole race.
Yeah, I was watching his qualifying lap, Ben. He wiggled just a little bit coming out of 2, but that little bit of a wiggle cost him a good 10th.
Let's go back
up front.
Yeah, DeBarro made the move over in turn 4, pushed Daly back to 4th. They went 3 wide as the number 10 of Trey Edson is right there now in the mix. He's looking for the lead. Johnny was 5th just a lap ago.
He tried that slide job and had him cleared, but I guess he didn't want to press his luck, so he eased up a little bit. But he still takes that 3rd spot away from Coleman, or keeps the 3rd spot, I should say. Now he's going for 2nd place past Daly. I think Daly might have used his tires up there, Ben.
Certainly could, as the we're already 12 laps into this thing, John. Laps ticking off pretty quick, and I don't want to jinx anything, but this is one of the longer opening runs to the races
we've seen.
Say
it anyway.
One of the longer opening runs we've seen so far this season, as Edson almost gets the wall off turn 2. He'll have to check up. That allows Coleman into 20 to pull to the outside.
Yeah, we're going to start seeing some wiggling, some wiggly shakiness, some wiggly looseness coming out of these turns now, Ben. We're at that point in the race where these tires are really starting to give up a lot, and look behind them there. The 41 just got extremely loose coming off of 4.
It did. Oh, and another driver I'm watching just to the outside of 41 there. That's Jason Jacoby there in that number 88 machine. Started 14th. John, he's already worked his way up to 6th and looking, he's not slowing down anytime yet.
No, he's not, but I'll tell you who is slowing down. That 10 car is moving to the back. Sorry, Edson. Edson, you said I don't know if he wiggled or what, but he's already lost a couple of spots. And Jacoby is moving up fast onto his bumper, and he's going to try and take that spot away from him, it looks like.
So some exciting racing early on here at Homestead Miami Speedway. If you're watching on our YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us and hit that notification button so you can be notified whenever we are live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Be sure to give us a like on Facebook. And you can also find us now on the web. Just visit thesimracingnetwork.com. 15 laps clean so far here at Homestead. We'll take a quick break and be back with some more exciting action from sunny South Florida.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series. It's round number 4 here at the mile-and-a-half Ben Kilcrease. John Mushton on the call. Mitch Rollo down in a production van. We've been watching these guys over the commercial break. Barrow pulling slightly ahead of Byron Daly, and the battle is for that 3rd spot. John, it's Chad Coleman trying to fend off David Comstock.
And it's been a thriller of a race to watch so far, Ben, if I might say.
Is that a Michael Jackson quote there?
Yes, it was. I was wondering if you catch that. Yeah, I tell you what, I've been watching Comstock these last couple of laps while we had a commercial, and he's got a really interesting line that he runs to 3 and 4 here. He'll start up high, but he'll kind of fade down into that middle lane right there, which has been letting him get a really good run up off of 4. I think he's going to take this 3rd spot here, probably in this next lap or so from Coleman.
He keeps speaking to the inside, John, but he just, well, now he makes the move. Just as I say that, you know, the high line, definitely the preferred line. We'll see if Comstock is able to pull the slide job here. Really the first move of the night we've seen of the kind, and there it is. He pulls it. Coleman
and he's going to get drafted.
Yeah, Coleman says, okay, I'm not going to pull back to the inside, but I am going to push you down into turn number 3 and contact for the lead. Oh, did they make contact? If they didn't, you couldn't have slid a piece of paper in between the two. Daly tried the same thing with the slide job, and DeBarro was having none of it. Get the replay pulled up here, and you see John Daly just sent it down in there, and oh man, definitely contact between the two. Gonna get another view of this. We'll be on board with Anthony DeBarro in that number 5, leader at the time, and Daly, man, I don't know. That's just hard racing between two very good race car drivers right there.
I'll tell you what, I'm fairly certain that both of them were going to want to check their britches by the time this is over with. I'm pretty sure that Daly probably had to lift a little bit there just to avoid from getting into DeBarro. It was close, but I think once he got committed to diving in like that, realizing he was going to wash up really bad, he probably just got off the gas and maybe even tap the brakes a little bit just so he wouldn't take himself and DeBarro out.
Great job by both those drivers to not only keep it out of each other and causing a wreck, but keeping it out of the wall. DeBarro was all on the wall, but I don't think he touched it once. As, man, DeBarro continues to lead. These 4 drivers continue to fight amongst themselves, but John, don't look now. You know Steve Sheehan, we talked about him.
I was just about to say it.
Yeah, didn't have a good qualifying effort. Was kind of riding around the top 10. I think he was saving his stuff, and he's already now in the top 5, and he's bringing Jason Jacoby with him. This whole, Byron Daly's in the wall. Daly's in the wall in the 08, and that's going to be another spot for Sheehan as Daly's losing time, and then we got a crash. Larry Pace upside down on the front stretch. Look out, the rest of the field coming through. And a 2-car incident on a very tight front stretch is what we're going to escape with here as Larry Pace whips it around, caution out for the first time here tonight at Homestead.
That was just an unfortunate episode maybe of guys checking up, trying not to get in the back of that Daly car as he got woed up there into the wall, and man, it just it got a bunch of good cars involved. Well, at least a couple of good cars involved there, Ben.
We'll watch the replay here, and I don't want to blame Byron Daly for that. He had no part in the incident.
Not at all.
But what happened there was Larry Pace saw him slow. He turned the wheel to the left more, John, to try and avoid him, and that just loosened that 0-1 up, and hard into the wall he goes into the outside front stretch wall there. That'll pretty much be the end of Larry Pace's run tonight after running in about the 8th position.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. There's really, it's not like anybody's fault there, Ben. After 24 laps on these tires, making a correction like that is bound to get you loose, get you wiggly, shaky loose there coming out of the turn, and just an unfortunate matter. I hate to see that for Mr. Pace. He had a good run going there, but maybe he'll get some repairs and he can still get himself a decent finish out of the night.
Quarter of the way through this thing, exactly. This time at the line, leaders, everybody now heading to pit road, and we'll see who's going to come out with the lead here, John. We've seen track position pretty crucial early on here in the first 25% of this race.
Yes, sir, it has been, but it's also, this track, this setup, and especially the setup, favors guys who can take care of their equipment, take care of their tires, and not overwork the car. And the 10 car missed his pits and has to go around.
No, that'll be it for his race.
Yeah, that's gonna be unfortunate for him, man. But as I was saying, this track been really conforms to the guy that can save his tires, like Sheehan did. He saved his stuff for the later part of that run and was making up some great ground there. We'll probably see some more of the same for this next run.
Dave Comstock going to win the race off pit road, and now the big decision for Trey Edson. I mean, you got to come in. These tires, no way going to be competitive, and he will pull it down the pit road. Interesting pit road here, John. You have to take that access road all the way through 3 and 4, and that's really flat. So if we do get to the point where we see green flag pit stops, that is going to be fun just to watch there, that access road in itself.
Especially if these guys forget that they've got to take that access road.
Yeah.
A lot of guys think, under green they can just come straight in off the track, but you can't do that. You have to take the access road, and don't do like I did early this week in a league race and take the road course part of it. That'll get you in trouble in a hurry.
What a heartbreak though for Trey Edson there. He was running top 5, dropped back to around 6th or 7th before that caution flew, but man, oh man, misses his pit stall, and he's going to, and to make matters worse, he slides through the pit stall there. He's going to fall back. John, let's see how many, we have 40 cars on the lead lap. He will be pretty much at the tail end of that line.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker. I feel bad for Edson. I mean, that's a mistake we've all made, Ben. It's not exactly a rookie mistake, especially when you have a full field. All those cars, you're pit behind 6 or 7 guys. It's hard to see your pits, and it's not like you can stop and back it up without causing issues on pit road. So that's a heartbreaker for sure. But who knows? Maybe he'll play a 2-tire strategy later on and try and gain some of that back.
It's possible. I mean, it's still early on, not even to the halfway point yet. Let's talk about Nelson Rivera, John, coming to the night second in the points. He sits 15th right now. He started back in 22nd, so Rivera slowly but surely making his way up through the field in that number 22 machine.
Yeah, I was watching Nelson in practice. I don't think he's got himself a good line around this track figured out yet where he wants to go. He was trying laps up high, tried some laps in the middle, tried some laps down low. I don't think he's found himself a comfortable spot yet, but I think once he does, he's going to be one to watch. As we saw at Rockingham, he was really good after 10, 15 laps on the tires. So he's used to tires getting slick and getting greasy after such a long run.
That he is. We'll keep an eye on him and his march to the front. The championship leader heading into tonight, Steve Sheehan, is going to restart on the outside of row number 2 in the 4th position for this restart. And we mentioned Byron Daly involved, not necessarily involved in the caution, but involved in an incident right before the caution. John, he will restart this race just outside of row number 4. So he didn't lose too much time, but the thing with Daly is we have to wonder, is that right side damaged enough to slow him down on the long runs here?
That'll be interesting to watch, see if he gets, any tighter as he goes. I think he learned a lesson, though. I think he's going to stay away from that wall for a little while, what do you think?
I think so. We'll see what happens here. It's the first restart of the race. 1 caution in the book so far, and we're just past the quarter mark of this one. Green flag is back out. We're back underway, and Daly already back in the gas. He got a good jump on that outside line, as did your leader, David Comstock. He leads us to turn 1.
And they're going to bunch him up back there from about 8th on back, 2 wide, 3 wide racing. And in the meantime, Sheehan, I don't know if he wiggled or what there, but he got a big bumper full of 50.
Sorry to cut you off there, John.
No,
a huge one again down in turn number 1 as my oh my, the 76 of silver involved. Brian Syberry, a championship contender. Doug Sigmund, Trey Edson is in it. Look at Scott Simley, another championship contender. John, he's smoking down the backstretch.
That's unfortunate. That really is. That's got a bunch of good cars there. Edson, a victim of a crash because he missed his pits and made a mistake earlier, and that's, he's really going to be kicking himself in the back now.
That all happened to check up with just the inside line there. The 9 checked up. That's Bobby Wetzel. Jason Barham got to the back of him. Barham shot up across the track into Scott Simley. Simley then gets put head on into the outside wall hard. The 45 nails him pretty good. Just, man, oh man. Victim of circumstances there, as caution out again for the 2nd time. Now a bigger incident here at Homestead.
That's really unfortunate for some of these guys. And this is not a track you can do without the aerodynamics like Richmond was last week, Ben. Last week you could finish with a couple of fenders missing, maybe a bumper. But here you need the whole car intact and unbent.
That you do. Second caution will provide us a time to head to a quick commercial break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back. You're watching Sim500 action from Homestead.
Ever dreamed of being paid to dive? Think you can handle the heat of cooking for hundreds of brave troops? Could you deploy a sophisticated communication network in some of the remotest corners of the planet? Can you see yourself delivering essential healthcare in a state-of-the-art portable clinic? Would you like to pull off intense workouts and a paid education? Or execute a precision landing just in time to save a life? Perhaps you'd prefer to master cutting-edge electronic systems in the middle of the ocean. Dare to be extraordinary with the Canadian Armed Forces. Apply for one of over 100 full and part-time careers and acquire sought-after skills and training that will serve you everywhere. A message from the Government of Canada.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah. Isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway, here live on the Sim Racing Network. It's round number 4 of the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series, and we're working caution in number 2 of the night after a relatively big one down in turn number 1, taking out a handful of cars and allowing some of the other drivers to just take another deep breath and get ready to do battle up front again, John.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was watching that replay a little bit there, Ben, and I tell you what, it has to be a spooky feeling for a guy coming out of a turn, seeing all that wrecking up in front of him.
And it does. Very, very spooky heading into turn 1 with a lot of cars spread all over the racetrack. So here we go. Set for the restart. Lights out atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. By the way, if you're participating in any Halloween activities tomorrow, be sure to stay safe and be lit when you're out there on the roads.
By lit, he means wearing a light of some sort on your uniform, and we're going to leave it at that.
You want other people to see you.
Exactly. Yes. You want to be well lit.
Man, oh man. And have fun at the parties.
Yes.
Drink responsibly.
Have fun. But keep your costume on at all times, please.
There you go. Here we go. Set to go back racing. Homestead Miami Speedway. It's a spectacular night here for racing. A spectacular day, rather. As we're under the sun, a balming track temperature, 107. We're back under racing. We're back under green flag racing. Down into turn number 1. David Comstock takes an early lead. Then it's Chad Coleman, Steve Sheehan, Jacoby, and Hightower.
I tell you what, that was, I don't know, it looked like everybody was kind of asleep on that start except for the leader, Comstock. I mean, he just took off. And the rest of these guys were just kind of slow coming up to the gears, but we got him going now. And it looks like Coleman, he's got his eye on the lead there, Ben.
And he does. Coleman in that number 20 looks to the inside. We should note, everybody, that Anthony DeBarro pitted under that caution. He's outside of the top 20.
Yeah, he's going to have to work his way back up to the crowd now. He was one of the only leaders to pit. We've got a fight for third there. It looks like the 88 of Jacoby wants it. Sheehan has it, but he's also got his eyes on second. It's more of what we saw earlier there, Ben. Everybody and their brother is fighting for space on this racetrack.
That is exactly what it is. Everybody wants what the other person has, whether it's the top lane or the position in front of them. A couple cars scatter in the back. We stay green. Sheehan's gonna get the wall on the front stretch. That's your championship leader. He pulls to the inside. Lets Jacoby go by. Now Jacoby up to third. This is the highest position he's been all race.
I don't think the damage on Sheehan's car is going to be too bad. It looks like it's very minor indeed. I think he just had to catch his breath a little bit, get his car gathered back up, and go back at it. As he does that, though, the 08 of Daly goes around him and takes that spot away.
So Byron Daly, remember, John, he tagged the wall early in this race. Doesn't seem to be affecting that 08 too much here as we start to log some more laps at the 1.5 miles here in sunny South Florida. Jacoby, look at him, John. He works the bottom side of the racetrack down in 1 and 2. Coleman up to the top. They'll go side by side for the runner-up spot.
Yeah, Jacoby got a great run coming off that turn there on the inside. That's kind of unusual, especially coming off a 2 there to get such a great run coming out there. He's going to try it again, going down to 3 and 4 here. In the meantime, Coleman's going to take that middle lane, try and keep him in check by side drafting him coming off a 4. But I think Jacoby's going to take that going down to 1.
We'll see. You might have to pull a slide job to clear the 20. Down in the turn 1, Coleman checks up a little bit early there. Jacoby will be able to clear him with ease. So the 88 of Jacoby started way back in 14th, has found his way to the runner-up spot here at Homestead on lap number 38.
I'll tell you though, Ben, I think Jacoby's using his stuff up too quick. I think that's what Coleman realizes, and that's why he gave him that spot, even though he's looked like he's trying to fight back. As I say that, coming off a 4, he's going to take it right up on the bumper, doing some bump drafting coming down front stretch.
It's really hard to watch this battle up front and then the battles throughout the field. I'm watching back here with Stevie Minson in that number 96 leading a just absolutely unbelievable pack back here. These guys have been almost 4 wide at points, John, and it's cool to see these guys back here. They're just having fun. They're not racing for the lead, but they are having an absolute blast working each lane of this racetrack.
I tell you what, the gearbox view on this one, Ben, is fun because when they go down to the turns, they fan out 4, almost 5 wide, it looks like, back there behind him. It looks like the Kodak car's got a little bit of right side damage, like he might have gotten into the wall at some point. Oh, we got to spin. 48 just lost it.
Look out. Is everybody going to avoid him? Wow, what great driving there. Jimmy North, a single car spin, and does not get hit by anybody. Caution out for the 3rd time here at Homestead.
Yeah, it looks like he had a little help, though, Ben. He got tagged in the bumper coming to that turn there.
So we watched that, and the other thing we're going to have to watch on this caution period, John, is the pit road. We had a couple of a good green flag laps in on the tires. They're about 7-8 to be exact. So what are we going to see now on pit road? It looks like everybody's coming, but do we see somebody in the back maybe try some 2 tires to work their way back up to the front and get some track position?
I wouldn't rule out a 2-tire stop there, Ben. I mean, we don't have that many laps on these tires. You're definitely going to see more wear on the right sides than the left, so I would probably guess if somebody's going to do it, they're going to take those 2 right side tires, try and improve their track position just a little bit, probably banking on another quick caution somewhere.
See what happens here as the field heads down pit lane. 50 mile an hour, cannot speed. A speeding penalty here, John, would almost certainly ruin your race.
Absolutely. Any kind of penalty will cause you some issues, or even just making a minor mistake like we saw earlier with the 10 car of Edis.
Yeah, speaking of Edson, he gets the lucky dog there. He'll be put back onto the lead lap in 33rd position. A couple of drivers have pulled it behind the wall. Josh Parker, Dan Denayer, and Jason Barham all behind the wall here in the garage area. David Comstock going to win the race off pit road. Chad Coleman will come out 2nd. 3rd, Byron Daly. Jason Jacoby 4th, and rounding out the top 5 going to be Steve Sheehan. When the quick commercial, will be back for the top of the green flag.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette.
My doctor calls me and says, Chris, I have the results of your scan. This is saying you have lung cancer. And that was probably the single most shocking thing anyone's ever told me in my life.
How can I have lung cancer? I'm 39. How can I have lung cancer? I do kick myself almost daily for ever starting smoking. I really do.
Quit your way. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway as we are working the third caution of the night. This one just for a self-spin on the back straightaway. Jimmy North, no contact with the number 48 machine. He gets it turned in the right direction and gets set for the restart. Here it'll be David Comstock leading us back to the green flag alongside of Chad Coleman on this restart. And same story for this one, John. Do we see these guys just kind of fan out and try and get everything they can here on these early laps, or what are we going to expect here on this restart? As we're closing in on that halfway point, just 6 laps from halfway when we get the green flag.
I honestly don't want to say, Ben, because every time I say these guys do the exact opposite. So, no, I think we're going to see more of the same, buddy. I think we're going to see some guys trying to get up there and get as many positions as they can early, and I think we're going to see some guys like Sheehan maybe try to save their tires a little bit, not give up too much to the leader, but try and save their equipment a little bit, because as we saw, guys like Sheehan that can take care of that car, or at least can cope with a loose vehicle on the longer runs of 20 and some odd, 20 some odd laps or more. They like that, they like to be able to get up there and make their way forward as everybody else is falling back on those old tires.
They do. Tonight, we've had a couple people with the Homestead stripe. Next week, I can guarantee you we'll have more with the Darlington stripe. Join us right here on the Sim Racing Network, 9 p.m. Eastern, for 110 laps at the track Too Tough to Tame. Pace car to pit road here in Florida. We're back in the gas and back underway as they race down into turn number 1. Another good restart for that number 42.
Yes, it was. I think the 08 might have spun his tires just a little bit because his back end wiggled a little bit there on him. But I think everybody got through that okay. We got 4 wide back there for about 12th place, it looks like. In the meantime, up front, it's going to thin out to single car racing, and it looks like Sheehan's going to drop back all the way to 7th place on that restart.
That he does. The inside line got stacked up there, and it kind of bit someone in the butt as they work through 3 and 4. Couple contact in the back, 1 car up in the wall. He keeps it straight. It looks like we'll stay green as we work lap 46 of 100.
Tell you what, I'm watching Coleman in that 20. He's still searching for a fast line. He got a really good run off of 2 at that time. Coming down the back stretch, he's making up some great room on that leader there.
Yeah, that was a huge run. I think he found the line down in 1 and 2. Did Coleman that last time by? Man, oh man, a huge run for Coleman, and off of 4 here. Still continue to close in on that 42, slowly but surely. For 3rd, it's Byron Daly, who has gotten around Jason Jacoby and E.J. O'Rourke. Haven't talked much about him, mentioned him a couple times, but he's now comfortably inside the top 5.
Indeed he is, and I don't know what happened to Coleman there, but he's actually given up some ground now to Comstock. I think maybe he surprised himself that run he had that last lap, and he's given up some ground to Comstock and to Daly back there in 3rd, just bringing Jacoby with him.
A cat and mouse game. We see these drivers, they catch up 1 lap, and then they kind of slip back the next, and then next lap they're up on their bumper, and then a small mistake is made and they fall back again. It's really fun to see, each one of these drivers close up and kind of fall back and make the run back up towards the front.
Yes, it is. I tell you what, I think this car is well designed for this track. I really think this car fits good on this track, especially with these kind of temperatures we got right now. Ooh, look at this fight we got shaping up for second place here, Ben. Daly's trying high, trying low. He's going to cut down the inside now, come down the front stretch, going to send it into one down the inside there. Try to get that second place spot away from Coleman.
Daly working the bottom, Coleman up on top. I mean, they are literally two completely different lanes. Daly all the way on against the apron, and Coleman all the way against the wall. And that time, Coleman's going to prevail. It seems as though as the run progresses, John, that outside line becomes more dominant. Within the first 2 or 3 laps, though, on the restart, you see quite a few guys make up some ground on that inside line.
Yeah, it looks that way, but I'll tell you what, I think the only way you're going to get around Coleman is using that chrome horn there. He sees those guys coming, so he takes their line away from them, and adjusts his driving line, for the guy coming trying to get that spot. Meantime, Jacoby's fighting for that third spot now. Ben, I tell you what, these guys aren't sitting down, waiting back, holding back, nothing.
They are. You gotta get it when you can, and we talked about the momentum. When Daly makes a move down low like that, John, it kills his momentum for the next couple turns, and that allows Jacoby to get back up in the mix.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is I'm sorry to get so distracted on you there, Ben. I was watching these guys back here in like 9th, 10th, 11th, and at one point they were literally 5 wide. That's just insane here at Homestead, but it's big enough and it's wide enough for it. But I really don't think they're going to want to do that much longer with these tires losing their grip as much as they do.
Remember that number 5, John, was leading early in this race, pitted when everybody else stayed out, and he has marched his way through the field. This time by, he'll be scored 10th at the line. He's looking for 9th as they go to turn 1.
Yeah, he is definitely in a hurry to get back up front there. I'm guessing his Coors Light must be getting warm there, so he wants to get finished by the time it's cold. Oh, we got one on the wall there. And
now the ball's going to get spun and hard into the inside wall. No caution again. And I say again because if you were watching last night in the Cup Series, DeBarro got spun from the lead and no caution came out. So DeBarro has just had a sickening week for the number 5 machine.
And he's having a hard time getting straightened back up and getting back out there. If he doesn't hurry up, he's going to wind up going a lap down. He's probably going to go a lap down anyway, trying to get that damage fixed and get those tires replaced. But that's a heartbreaker for DeBarro. He was making his way back up after, having some issues earlier, and he's got a lot of damage on that rear end of that car now.
My goodness, just cannot catch a break as Anthony DeBarro. So, and the leaders are right on him, so he's definitely going to lose a lap here. As that time by at the line scored 34th from 10th to 34th in a matter of a mile or so.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now he's about to give one up to the leader there. I don't think he can do much about it either. He's got a damaged car. He's off the pace. Definitely going to, have to give this spot up. Give this lap up to the leader, and just hope for caution soon so we can get the damage fixed and get back out there and maybe get his lead lap back.
So, boy, that shakes up some things. We were watching him march his way through the field. Now we go and focus on Steve Sheehan, who is in a nice little battle here. He sits 7th as E.J. O'Rourke has fallen back to 6th, and now he's trying to get that 5th spot back away from Mitchell Riggs as they race through turns number 1 and 2. Sheehan, I think Johnny knows that Rivera is quite a bit back from him. He's just being careful here as we're just a little bit past halfway.
Yeah, Sheehan's got to be keeping that points picture in mind as well. Probably trying, not to press his luck too much here. He's going to take a peek down to the inside of the 41 car of E.J. O'Rourke there, and they take that spot away going down in the 1. E.J.'s going to fight back on the outside, but I don't think he's going to be able to take it back from me. E.J.'s been looking a little loose, the last couple of laps, like maybe his tire's starting to give up a little bit on him. But Sheehan takes that spot, and it looks like the 16 wants a little bit also.
Update you on 2nd in points heading into the night. Nelson Rivera is currently 22nd. 3rd in points coming into the night was Jonathan Lockhart. He sits 30th.
Yeah, they both had a rough evening. I believe Lockhart took a speeding penalty last time, if I'm not mistaken, on pit road. We talked about that. You cannot make mistakes here. But meantime, the 16 car can't make up his mind if he wants to take that spot away from the 41 or not. It looks to me like O'Rourke was trying to give it to him a minute there, and the 16 of who is that? Bobby Terrell He's trying to make it stick down there on the inside, but just can't make the pass.
Good run for Terrell tonight. Quick in practice, had a good qualifying effort for that number 16. He qualified 12th, and he's worked his way solidly inside the top 10 here tonight. So Terrell having a good run in that. That's a good-looking car too, that Napa scheme.
Yeah, it is. It's a reminder of Chase Elliott's Cup ride. In the meantime, up front, I think this is the biggest lead we've had all night. A little over 7/10 of a second there with Ben up front between Comstock and Coleman. Kind of getting to be a little boring up front, if you ask me.
These guys, don't worry, John. It'll be a couple laps. They'll be all back together here pretty soon. I just got a feeling as Coleman's starting to gap Byron Daly in that second spot, and he closed in a little bit on Comstock that time. As Coleman, maybe he says now it's time in the run that I need to put the pressure on. I need to start chasing him down. But it is Comstock, like you said, the biggest lead of the night for that number 42. And then behind him, Coleman sits second. The battle for third is between Daly and Jacoby. And look at DeBarro, not in this battle, but with that damaged car, John, he's still able to maintain pretty good pace with these leaders.
Yeah, he's trying to keep that leader in sight, trying to make sure that he stays, the first car in the lead, one lap down in case there's a caution, get that lucky dog back. In the meantime, we've got a pretty good fight edging up here for third spot between Daly and Jacoby. Also, our leader, Ben, is coming up on lap traffic. You think that might have anything to do with Coleman making up some ground on Comstock?
Certainly could. If the lap traffic's in Comstock's lane, then he'll have to maneuver around, just like in turn 4 there. You see Coleman is able to close in on that number 42 machine. That time by at the line, just down to a half a second. So the 20 of Coleman starting to close in on your leader as they've cleared most of the lap traffic for now. They'll run into some more in probably 10 or so laps.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're getting at a point, been in the run, 20 laps in almost. We should start seeing some cars getting a little loose, getting a little wiggly. It's going to make, probably going to bunch a few of these cars up. I'd be interested to see how far of a lead that Comstock can maintain over Coleman once these cars start getting a little slick.
39 laps to go here at Homestead, and one of the longest green flag runs of the race. Jacoby continuing to battle with that 08 machine for third. Can't really complete the pass. He's been all around him, tried the bottom, tried the top, just cannot get alongside enough to clear that 08. And look at Coleman fighting a sideways car off turn 4. Hey John, let's be quiet for a lap and turn it up right here on the Sim Racing Network. And contact, the 09 machine is in the wall. He makes contact there with the outside wall. And another close call just behind him, and now we have a caution on the track. It's the 10 of Trey Edson on the front stretch around, and just a single car incident there. Nick Hurd in the 18 got loose, and Edson was on the bottom, and two come together, and around Edson goes. Keeps it off the inside wall and doesn't make any contact with any of their cars, but the bad night just keeps getting worse for a driver who was contending for the lead early on. So here we go. Comstock still leads this race. He'll lead the race down to pit road as we get, or as we're under pacing here for another time at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll head to a commercial break, and we'll bring you back for the restart. It should happen with around 30 laps to go.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks. Fully dynamic, real world.
Welcome back to Homestead, Miami Speedway. It's round number 4 here in the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group K&N Series. David Comstock going to win the race off of pit road. And, sorry, I saw one car go down the road course like John said he did earlier in the week. That was Corey Chester taking a little detour there.
It's the scenic route, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the more scenic route.
Put the windows down, put some Jimi Hendrix on the radio, and you're going to go, man.
Man, oh man. So around 30 to go, John, and we've seen Dave Comstock get out here and open up this lead. If I'm Chad Coleman, Byron Daly, Jason Jacoby, Steve Sheehan, rest of this top 5, I'm saying I've got to get out in front of the 42. I've got to take his line away, and I'm not going to let him get around me, because if he does, my chances of winning this race might go out the window.
I've seen some guys, Ben, in races past here at Homestead, on the restarts, get right up on the leader's bumper and literally push him down into one, which, of course, as you know, it gets him loose and moves him up the track. I think that's going to be the only way any of these guys are going to be able to get by him, is to give him the bumper going down to one on the restart.
30 laps, still a long time, John. If we get a caution, say, midway with 15 to go, I think some of these guys might come down pit road again.
Yeah, that's possible, Ben. I don't think we've seen green flag stops yet, have we? No, we have not. So that would be interesting to see if anybody can remember that they've got to take that access road on the way in. That's going to be a big thing. I've seen that a couple times this week at other league races where these guys forget absolutely that they've got to take that access road even under green flag pitting. Or if they do take the access road, they come in way too hot and wind up sliding back up on the track and cause a big mess. So, you know, it's going to be fun to see if we do have a green flag stop, how these guys can handle it in these cars.
So we'll see how everything shapes out. I'm not sure on the fuel window. We may be good to the end, but we'll definitely check on that as we get set for the restart here. This could be the final one of the race. It's Dave Comstock and Chad Coleman leading us back to the green flag. Byron Daly, Jason Jacoby, and Steve Sheehan. That's the top 5. 6 through 10, Bobby Terrell, Bob Gillenwater, Jordan Hightower, E.J. O'Rourke, and Nigel Standish.
If this thing goes green all the way, Ben, look for a lot of slipping and sliding come down to the end of this race.
It is a sticky one here. 106 degrees for the track temperature as we get set to go. Working lap number 69 of 100. It'll be 31 laps to go. Pace car down to pit road. They stack them up 2 by 2. Green flag is back in the air. Coleman did not get a restart, and Jacoby says, I'll help you if you need it, Chad, but I got to get the move on. I got a race to win.
Daly's going to take second spot away from Coleman, and Jacoby is all over the back bumper of Coleman. Also, he's like, I'm not waiting for anybody here. I'm not taking it easy. I'm going to get up here and fight it out for one of these top spots. In the meantime, out front, Comstock got him a good clean start and maintains his lead going down to 3.
And he does. A good battle shaping up just behind that battle for the lead. Look at this. E.J. O'Rourke going to make it 3 wide off turn number 4. This is going to be a gaggle heading to turn 1. That's Gillenwater and Standish riding side by side. You see O'Rourke and Casto and many others involved in that one as well. Look at this. Oh, my goodness, are they tight there, John?
They are. And what's crazy, Ben, is this track is wide enough for 5 wide, but not 3 wide in the same lane, which is pretty much what we saw. And up front, we got a heck of a mix-up. I don't know who got loose where, but we got a 3-car fight for second place between Coleman, Jacoby, and Daly's losing ground, it looks like.
Yeah, Daly, I think, may have either tagged a wall or got loose off turn 2 the last go-round. That allowed Coleman to put himself into the second spot. Now Sheehan is right there with Jacoby. Jacoby clears Sheehan, and look at Jordan Hightower. Haven't talked of him all race, and now he's challenging for a spot inside the top 3.
And in the meantime, our leaders checked out. He said, you guys go ahead and keep doing that. I got places to go. And I tell you, if they keep this up, they're going to give him too much of a lead to overcome. In the meantime, back there, like you said, Hightower is really making his moves, trying to get up on the bumper there. Sheehan trying to get him loose going into 1 for that spot.
And trouble on the front stretch. Car hard into the inside wall, and it looks as if he'll be out of the way. That was the, we'll try and get a number. That was the number 38 of Richard
Oh, we got one
Swavely.
on the wall coming off the back stretch.
Caution waves. As we'll try and pinpoint the car that was.
Yeah, coming out of 2 there, 24 got up on the wall also and really bottlenecked the whole field. I don't think he got anybody involved, and he didn't spin, so I'm not real sure where the caution was at.
So it was Stenzel on the wall. I think it was Swavely on the front stretch there in the 38, the car that actually brought the caution out. He did come to a stop there at the bottom of the track, and caution waved. So Richard Swavely, bad break there. He was running around the top 15, and just looks like he comes off the wall and pancakes that inside wall. A hard hit for the 38, and a bad break for Stenzel there as well.
Oh, no.
Tonight's
I'm sorry,
race.
Ben, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
Sheehan just got suckered down there on going into pit road. Everybody stayed out but Sheehan, it looks like.
Wow. Mixed emotions. Half the field coming down, half staying out. Wow. Tonight's race brought to you by the Ford Entertainment Group. For all your custom PC needs, be sure to contact Jeffrey Ford on iRacing or give them a like on Facebook. Contact them through their Facebook page. All you have to do, search Facebook, go to Facebook and search the Ford Entertainment Group. You can subscribe to them on YouTube as well. Ford Entertainment Group giving away a PC capable of VR or 3 screens to the driver with the most completed laps at the end of this season.
I tell you what, Sheehan's going to be starting way back there, it looks like.
That he is. As we'll get him we'll get you an updated position on him as the timing and scoring updates here. But I was going to say, John, I think to be fair, we should be included in on the drawing because we've sat through all the laps so far this season.
I'll second that. Yes, sir. I'll second that. My poor baby, she's had a hard life. My computer has been. I don't know. I'm sure I've mentioned this. I do painting for Old School Graphics and Designs. Find us on Facebook. Do a search for Old School Graphics and Designs. But I do a lot of painting, and I do some video making of my own and 3D modeling. And I could use a brand spanking new computer for all that. I really could, especially if it's got VR. I've heard some fun things about VR.
I think that's going to be a hard. I can't find my words here tonight. It's
Halloween. A hard sell on Jeff, right?
yeah. There you go. Yeah, we'll word it that way. Man,
yeah, I got Jeff's email. I'll hit him up later on. I'll put a good word in for me. I mean us.
I hear you. Working another caution here, and we've closed in, John, on that on what I like to call go time. It's less than 25 laps to go. We'll restart this thing with probably 22, 23 here in Homestead, and I think for most of these drivers, you're going to have Sheehan back here, who, by the way, is going to be scored 12th. Not too far out of it, John.
That's
but
not too bad, no.
Still quite a few cars to hopscotch his way back to the front, but he does have fresh tires, and those could definitely help him out on this run. That was only about a 4 or 5 lap run before that caution period, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what the tires do.
Though. Yeah, I think you're right, though, Ben. I think that's going to help him in the long run, especially if this goes green all the way. The rest of these guys are right at the window where the tires start to give it up at 25 laps. You know, for him anyway, I should say. The rest of these guys have 5 extra laps on them, so we'll look for them probably around lap 90, 95 to start getting a little slick, a little wiggly. And that's probably when we see Sheehan really start to make his drive towards the front.
It's going to be fun nonetheless as the lights go off atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. Need to take a breath, so let's pause in seconds for station identification. Welcome back to the Sim Racing Network, live from Homestead, Miami Speedway. Have some viewers in the chat wondering about Anthony DeBarro. John, he is, I tell you what, unbelievably worked his way back up to 13th in that number 5.
Like I said, he stayed right there with the leaders, trying to keep himself in shot of that lucky dog. Got it back, got another quick caution, finds himself up towards the front. Not as bad as it could have been for him after that the little mishap back there on the backstretch. Ben, what do you think?
Could have been a whole lot worse. As man, you got to give a pat on the back to him and working his way back up inside the top 15. So here we go as we get set to go back racing at Homestead. 23 laps remain. The pace car going to get out of the way. Down to the safety of pit road. 2 by 2 the field goes. We're back underway in sunny South Florida, and Comstock gets a good run. Jacoby did not get a good restart there, and Hightower almost puts it, and we got a crash. The 41 around, Casto around. So far, we stay green.
DeBarro almost loses it also in the middle of 1 and 2 there. I tell you what, Hightower was pushing Jacoby so hard, I really thought they were going to spin going down in the 1, but they didn't. They maintained themselves a little bit there. We got a 3-wide fight for 4th place. 3-wide fight for 4th place.
Man, oh man, look at that. Hightower right there in the middle of all that as Jacoby trying to find his way back to that 2nd spot. He's going to battle with Coleman. Look at this group of cars racing down into turn 1, all going, they all want a spot inside that top 5.
I'll tell you what, I was watching the 16 car just now. He almost got in the back of Hightower. I don't know if Hightower had to check up or what coming out of that last turn, but they got right up against each other like a little bump drafting there. I'll tell you what, this has turned out to be a really good race in the latter stages there have been, and we haven't even seen tire wear come into effect yet.
Oh, and Sheehan is coming to pit road. Your championship leader is coming to pit road. Problems for the 66, John. We don't know what happened, but we can only assume that there has been a penalty on that last round of pit stops that has caused him to come back down and serve either a stop and go or a couple-second penalty. My, oh my, Sheehan, this is just terrible news for the driver of the number 66.
Probably on that restart, maybe. I'm not real sure what happened there, Ben. It just, I don't know. He didn't look like he passed anybody inside, but you're right. He's we got a caution out now.
Caution's going to wave. It's the 50 machine of Jordan Hightower. I kept my eye on Sheehan there in the pits and missed what happened to the number 50. He was around on the back straightaway. Got up into the wall. Maybe some contact there with the 16 of Terrell, but nonetheless, Hightower going to be out of this one in the late stages.
He's got heavy damage on that car. It looks like it's crabbing a little bit on him, so that means he's got some front end bent up there. Tell you what, that's unfortunate. Hightower was making a really good show of things here in the latter stages of this race.
Man, oh man, now everybody going to head to pit road. Looks like the 10 machine of Edson will stay out, and he, John, is on the lead lap and is going to have the lead once we go back green.
Talk about playing the lottery. I'll tell you what, man. It's an interesting call. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but that's an interesting call.
I think he's been turned around about 4 times in this race, and
yes.
No disrespect to him at all, but he has just had a horrible night. So we're getting word that Steve Sheehan possibly, John, exited a closed pits.
Oh, I understand.
Under that green flag pit stop. No, this will be under the green flag pit stop, I do believe. Still wondering what happened on that on the initial restart that made him come back down under the pit road. But man, oh man, just had the championship lead. He was going to extend that lead, leaving tonight, and now he's going to have to rebound himself, and he stays out under this caution, John. Man, there's so much going on under this caution. Sheehan has stayed out, and I do believe that'll put him, if he does not have a into the longest line penalty, that'll put him fourth, it looks like, for this restart.
I think he's a lap down.
Chester is Chester in front of him there is a lap down. Stenzel's a lap down. DeBarro, however, is not. He'll restart this race second. Stenzel will drop to the end of the longest line. He's a lap down.
He's going to be third, Ben.
Yeah, Sheehan on the lead lap. He's somehow managed to stay on the lead lap and is going to restart this race third.
He's got a golden horseshoe inside that car somewhere. I guarantee it. That's amazing. I'm not real sure what his penalty was earlier to having the cause to pit on the green. But when we thought that was going to end his night, damage his championship hopes, the guy pops up in third. I want a copy of his shoe. I want a copy of that golden horseshoe.
Tell me about it. Let's re-rack things. Okay, so Trey Edson in the lead has been a lap down. There's been multiple laps down in this race. He's worked his way back on the lead lap and will lead us back to the green flag. He's been involved in quite a few cautions. Has been spun around. Has been in the wall, etc. Anthony DeBarro. John, remember, he was spun on the backstretch, did not get a caution for his spin, lost a lap, worked his way back to the lead lap. He'll restart this race second. Steve Sheehan has to come down pit road under green, and while he's on pit road, the caution waves, and it looks as if, barring any penalties, that he'll restart this race third.
It's Halloween. That's all I can say. It's Halloween, man. The strangest things happen on Halloween Eve, you know?
That it does. All these cars, the top three on older tires. Byron Daly looks as if he is on 2 tires. Bobby Terrell on 2 tires. Brian Boris Cook on 2 tires. Nelson Rivera, 2 tires. And David Comstock, I do believe, will be the first on fresh tires. He'll restart 8th. John, this race has changed dramatically in the past 5 minutes.
And wait, there's more. Your top 2 have significant body damage, Ben. Significant body damage. Spoilers are bent, which, as we both know, definitely affects the handling of these cars. So I hope you folks got some fresh popcorn and a couple of cold iced ones, because it's about to get really interesting up front.
And if you haven't installed seat belts on your seat, too late. You just better grab a hold tight. This one is going to get wild. We could see 4, 5, 6 wide in these final laps of the race. 16 laps to go here from Homestead, and it will be Trey Edson leading us back to the green flag alongside Anthony DeBarro. Pace car to pit road, 2 by 2. It's going to get wild from South Florida.
DeBarro does not get a good start on this. He's going to jack up that outside lane. We got 3 wide for 4th, 5th, and 6th. 3 cars fighting for second, and in the meantime, Edson's like, I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you. I got a race to go win.
And Jacoby did not get a good restart there. He falls back, and for the most part, John, that was a whole lot calmer than I expected, as Edson takes the early lead. Here comes Byron Daly, slightly fresher tires than DeBarro, as he's going to work his way to the second spot. He pulls up right in front of him. DeBarro right on his rear bumper. Here comes Sheehan, the driver who was out of the championship. Oh, and now the Byron Daly to the inside of Edson for the lead. DeBarro up top. Edson gets a door from Daly. Up the track he goes, and Byron Daly takes the lead on the backstretch.
I think you were saying something about it wasn't exciting, Ben. Hold your tongue, sir. Let me fix that for you.
Yeah,
you got it, man.
Unbelievable.
What's that? The announcer said he's bored? Well, hold that thought.
Dave Comstock now working that bottom side in the 42. Man, they're not going to last like this. Comstock going to get the push from Coleman down the front stretch. Byron Daly says, Oh, keep racing, guys. Keep racing. Let me get out in front. Oh, man, Edson going to get another door, and he gets shot up the track again down in 1 and 2. He's got to get tired of getting pushed around here on this restart.
I'm absolutely certain he's talking to his crew chief right now, asking where they put the bulls at on this car. He's been hit so many times in the last half and a half. I'll tell you what, he's fallen to the back, though. I think that damage is really poking its head out now and letting everybody know that he's just knocked out the car. He needs to stay up in the front there as he's getting out. We got a caution out.
Caution's out, and it looks like this one will be at the tail end of the field. As can't even find it on the track. So most likely an incident at the back of the field as, man oh man, Byron Daly is in the lead. Sheehan second, Bobby Terrell third, Comstock fourth, Chad Coleman fifth. Brian Boris Cook, John, in the 63. Listen to where he started. Started way back in 35th. That was almost dead last. Wow. And he's worked his way to 6th.
With a relatively clean car, Ben. I mean, yeah. You know, that's look at the rest of these cars out in this field. There's not a whole lot that can say that they don't have any damage, and he's one of the few. But just in front of him, we got Coleman and Comstock, so he's in good company right there. This should be an interesting restart with about, what, maybe 8 or 9 to go?
Yeah, it'll be under 10 to go, no doubt, when we get this restart. And, hey, Nelson Rivera, right behind Brian Boris Cook, comes into the night second in points. And we were talking about him, you know, racing around the top 15. Now he's sitting 7th. He's in a good position to, you know, not let Sheehan get too far out in front of him. Just a couple laps ago, we were talking about how Sheehan was gonna lose the lead, leaving Homestead.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this is it's been up and down with this race tonight, and I don't think it's over with yet, because as we both know, you know, it's All Halloween Eve. You know what I'm trying to say. And we're under 10 laps to go. We got, you know, these guys up front think they've got a chance at it all the way back to 10th, I'm guessing, and so we're going to see guys just going all out, hammer down, trying to get to the front as quickly as possible. So I definitely would say the excitement is not over yet, especially when you got a guy up front who really hadn't been running up front all night. So he's going to feel like he's got a target on his back.
Yeah, far from over here at Homestead. We can barely get our words out. There's so much going on. So, John, let's take a break. We'll pay some bills while we're on this break, and we'll be back just in time for the green flag, and then we'll take you all the way to the checkered. It's going to be a wild finish here in Florida.
I need some popcorn. I'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Ever dreamed of being paid to dive? Think you can handle the heat of cooking for hundreds of brave troops? Could you deploy a sophisticated communication network in some of the remotest corners of the planet? Can you see yourself delivering essential healthcare in a state-of-the-art portable clinic? Would you like to pull off intense workouts and a paid education? Or execute a precision landing just in time to save a life? Perhaps you'd prefer to master cutting-edge electronic systems in the middle of the ocean. Dare to be extraordinary with the Canadian Armed Forces. Apply for one of over 100 full and part-time careers and acquire sought-after skills and training that will serve you everywhere. A message from the Government of Canada.
Lights out. Pace car to pit road. John, it's 9 more circuits around Homestead Miami Speedway.
And the start is already off to a melee there. We had some guys checking up real hard. 3 and 4 wide behind them. Oh, here we go, buddy.
Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. Big one. Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness. That didn't take long at all.
Oh, they're still wrecking. The borrow hard in the wall. Good grief. My goodness. Casto up in the air. And a big one happens. And I'm not going to say we didn't predict it, but we was hoping it wouldn't happen.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, we called it. I'm sorry. That just, you know, it's that time of the race, man. These guys have...
Sorry to cut you off there, John. Casto is going to back his way into the pits. I think he has had enough of this race. Not had the best night there in that brightly green number 59 machine. Gotta give him an A+ for creativity, though.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate way to end. Well, I don't think it's going to end. We might go back to green.
Sorry, Casto just crashed. So, we're going to go back green, John. I do believe we are. But it will be a even smaller of a shootout to the finish as we'll restack the top 5. It's still Byron Daly out in front of this field. Steve Sheehan will restart second. It'll be Dave Comstock now up to third. Fourth, Chad Coleman and Mitchell Riggs will restart fifth. That guy started 21st.
That's unfortunate. Brian Boris Cook was having a great run, top 5 from what was the 33rd starting spot there. Had worked his way up into the top 5 there, but he was an unfortunate victim in that. It looked to me like the 42 of Comstock and the 16 got into each other a little bit there, and it just started a chain reaction behind them, and it was just on from there.
And it was. Let's talk points for a second, John. Sheehan, just leader heading into tonight, has somehow maintained that second spot with old tires, etc. Now we go back to the driver who was second coming into tonight. That's Nelson Rivera in the number 22. Johnny's still maintaining that 7th spot. Jonathan Lockhart was third coming into tonight, and before that caution, he was way back in 17th, I do believe. Now he is 10th. So just like
after
that.
After starting 36th.
Yeah, after starting 36. Yeah, just like that. The points are, we thought there was going to be big separations, but they're starting to close back in on
and
each
it ain't
other
over
again.
yet, brother. We still got 5 laps to go. And unfortunately, DeBarro has retired for the night. It looks like his night is done.
Yeah, just we could not catch a break tonight. It's not been a good Halloween week for DeBarro this week. But nonetheless, it's going to be, we're going to restart this race. It'll be, I'd say, probably around 3 laps to go. A 3-lap shootout.
Yes, sir. And I'm thinking, judging by what we just saw, it's not going to be a boring 3 laps. Ben, what do you think?
I don't think it will be either. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to join us in chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And just communicate with us. Have some fun there in the chat. Also, subscribe to us and hit that notification button so you can be notified whenever we are live right here on the Sim Racing Network. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Just search the Sim Racing Network on Facebook.com and visit our newly launched website, thesimracingnetwork.com.
Looks like Coleman in the 3 car is going to take that wave around this time by.
It's Jimmy Coleman and the
I'm sorry, Jimmy Coleman,
machine.
yeah. I forget there's a couple of Colemans in here. That's a good-looking race car, that 3 car.
Certainly is. I love the paint schemes in this series, man. They're just
absolutely
the throwback theme, like Daly there running that. That's a old Burton scheme in that 08.
Yeah,
Ward
Button.
Wood Button.
Wood. You know, I love Ward Bernadette. Don't get me wrong, great guy, good driver. But the first time I heard him talk, I thought somebody had tuned in a Huckleberry Hound cartoon while I wasn't watching. You know, I had to look up and see that was a human talking.
I love Ward.
You know, else who was fun to work around? Buckshot Jones. When I was little in Virginia, I worked in a workshop that skinned his cars for him, and that dude's something else, man.
A lot of great personalities around the racing world, and even here in sim racing, some great personalities. As those personalities might get a little bit fired up, though, in the remaining laps of this race, depending on what happens and who gets their way. 4 to go at the line, John. This will for sure be the final restart. So it's now or never if you want to win this race.
Yes, sir. Next flag ends it, and I've got my eye on that outside lane with Sheen up there in the second spot on this restart, Ben. This would be real good.
Take a breath now. You won't get another one for the next 4 laps if it goes green. The pace car to pit road. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway, and a good restart for Sheehan. One of the best on that outside line so far tonight.
Yes, sir. Daly does not get too far away from him at all, and he's going to work that middle line, try and gain up a little bit of ground coming off of 2. In the meantime, we've got a 3-wide fight for 3rd place going on behind him.
Boy, Jacoby just turned that thing to the bottom off turn number 2, and now he's looking for the 3rd spot. Sheehan peeked out. He said, I'm not going to make the move now. Here comes Jacoby in the 88 all the way up the track. Look out, a slide job. There's going to be contact. Save it.
Oh, my goodness.
No, around he goes.
Back up in front of the field.
Crash.
Oh, no. And that's going to be the race, folks. It looks like Daly's going to get away with that one, but Sheehan coming home in 2nd place. And they're going to give 3rd to Comstock, it looks like.
That was Mitchell Riggs going around there in the 09. That'll end it here at Homestead. And man, oh man, what a race. What a race.
I tell you what, Jacoby just sent it down into 3 like he wasn't planning on going anywhere else after that. That was, wow. That's all I can really say, man. Wow.
A big move, and it's going to land him with 5th here at once we tally up everything. It looks like Nelson Rivera will maintain that 7th spot, and Jonathan Lockhart's going to move up a spot. It looks like possibly up to 9th. We'll wait for official timing and scoring at the conclusion of this race. But for the most part, Byron Daly's got 2 more caution laps here, and he'll be able to wrap it up at Homestead. It's been a absolutely exciting race. I mean, we haven't seen the biggest lead we saw, John, all race was really that 42 a half second, and for the most part, they were still duking it out behind him. Had some long green flag runs in this one, and just all in all, a good race from Florida.
Yeah, it was absolutely fun race to watch. You know, the cautions are a little unfortunate. I think we could have had a really good race if this thing had gone green a lot longer. You know, seeing these tires start to give up a little bit of sliding and wiggling, if you will. But all in all, great race. And you know, the Daly pulled it off. You know, he was up there battling Ben for most of the race, up at the top 5, due to some unfortunate pitting strategy. A couple of times found himself back outside of the top 5. But other than that, had a good strong run going most of the night. So he's not really surprised to see him up there. And basically, really, your top 5 have been strong all night long.
Before tonight, Daly had led 50 laps this season. John, you remember he had a good run back at Rockingham, but some troubles late in that race. Ended up 9th and finished way back in 30th last week at Richmond. So Daly definitely played the cards right, and he almost got himself in trouble a couple times tonight, John, with some close slide jobs, and he was even up in the wall at one point, but didn't seem to affect that car here late in the going, and he's going to circle around one more time here at Homestead, and he's going to get the victory here just a half a lap away from that checkered flag.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling good about himself tonight. You know, it's a hard run for him, but it pays off with a victory. You know, all he's got to do is make these last couple of turns here in 3 and 4, and it's all his. So that's a good thing. You know, going to help him in the point standings, I'm sure. Speaking of point standings, our leader, Steve Sheehan, that 2nd place finish, and Mr. Rivera back there in 6th, it looks like 7th. So that spot, those 2 spots up top will still remain about 20 points apart, depending on results being official tonight.
I still could not believe that Sheehan, after the green flag penalty, will work his way back to second.
Lady right there. A kiss.
Yeah, that right there is a testament to don't give up. Final time across the line, Byron Daly. It's official now. He wins round number 4 here at Homestead. We're going to talk to him, Sheehan, and David Comstock. Right after this, you're watching Sim500 action live on the Sim Racing Network.
Ever dreamed of being paid to dive? Think you can handle the heat of cooking for hundreds of brave troops? Could you deploy a sophisticated communication network in some of the remotest corners of the planet? Can you see yourself delivering essential healthcare in a state-of-the-art portable clinic? Would you like to pull off intense workouts and a paid education? Or execute a precision landing just in time to save a life? Perhaps you'd prefer to master cutting-edge electronic systems in the middle of the ocean. Dare to be extraordinary with the Canadian Armed Forces. Apply for one of over 100 full and part-time careers and acquire sought-after skills and training that will serve you everywhere. A message from the Government of Canada.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
My doctor calls me and says, Chris, I have the results of your scan. This is saying you have lung cancer. And that was probably the single most shocking thing anyone's ever told me in my life.
How can I have lung cancer? I'm 39. How can I have lung cancer? I do kick myself almost daily for ever starting smoking. I really do.
Quit your way. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway. As what a great race we witnessed here at the mile and a half in sunny and sunny southern Florida. My goodness, I cannot talk tonight. Let's head to John so I can try and get my words straight here. He's caught up with our third place finisher, David Comstock. John?
Yes, sir. I'm down here in the pit road with David Comstock. Dave, congratulations on third place run, man. That was kind of crazy out there for a little bit. How you doing?
Doing good. Just as well as Ben there. I had my tongue tied there on the start too. So, but no, it was a good race. Just wish we had more green flag runs there at the end to let those 4 tires prevail. But that's racing. Things happen. Wish I would have done 2. Be able to get more track position there and maybe have a better opportunity to try to get the win tonight. But still a solid run.
Yeah, we were watching, man. You had some great runs going there for a while. You led a lot of laps. At one point, you were out by about a half a second. On that long run that you had for a while there, what did it feel like the tires were doing to you? Did it feel like they were giving up a little bit?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely. It would stay pretty neutral to start. It'd be maybe on the more snug side, and then it would start to free up. So you'd be able to search around a bit as we were doing, moving up to the top, or, I prefer the bottom on the start and then moving up a little bit, searching around as the tires wore. So just was tire management, managing the gap behind us, and just making sure we had that clean air. Once we got out front, it was driving completely different than we were in traffic. So dirty air was definitely a big factor. But overall, good race, good middle portion of the race there. We were able to lead a lot of laps and show a lot of speed. And still a good result to come away with, even though I feel like we deserved the win. But it's racing. We didn't make the right strategy there at the end. We just have to work on that and get better on the pit stops and restarts, and we'll have better opportunities there in the future.
Well, there you have it, Ben. Straight from Dave Comstock, third place runner. You can hear the disappointment's voice a little bit there. He had a lot of laps led tonight and wound up coming home third. Dave, thanks for your time. We're going to take out of here and go and find our second place runner, Steve Sheehan. Thank you very much, Dave.
John, I think he started the twisting earlier in the broadcast when we interviewed him there on the pace lap. It's kind of contagious as he got us all mixed up with our words as you've worked your way down and you found, man, I don't know if lucky is the right word, John. Maybe he has a better word for it. It's second place Steve Sheehan.
Yeah, I caught up with Steve down here. And Steve, buddy, if there's a lucky dog award for the guy with the best brakes tonight, it's got to be you, brother. What happened out there? We saw you duck into the pits under green right before that caution there. What was that all about?
Hey, guys. That was on me, unfortunately. Sim racing, it's not all humans. And the sim sees ones and O's, and going into pit road, you're supposed to stay behind the car in front of you. If the sim sees your car ahead of theirs, it'll issue you a black flag, and it sucks, but I've done this long enough to where I should know better, and I just didn't. And even Byron, the car that I passed to give myself the black flag, he even saw it on his screen, and he actually sped up to try to save me, just because he's pretty good at what he does, and still didn't. And I served my black flag and just got lucky. You said it. So that's it.
Well, you came in tonight with a 14-point lead over Rivera. Looks like you can maintain that points lead coming out of tonight. So you got to take a deep breath and be thankful for that at least, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last week was a huge letdown for me just because I love Richmond and had a little bit of a screen freeze with my computer, and that just put me way behind the 8-ball, and had to kind of tool around and finish 9 laps down last week. And this week almost screwed myself again and got lucky. I will take a deep breath, and we'll see. I heard there might be some schedule changes, but I really like Darlington. Usually difficult tracks sometimes give you the cleanest racing because guys are busy racing the tracks versus racing each other, and we've had some easy tracks going in, and Darlington's getting difficult, so we'll see.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Darlington ourselves next week. We hope it remains on the schedule. Steve, again, congrats on your finish tonight, man. And like I said, it's better to be lucky than down. I mean, you could have been out of the race early. So it's a good thing to see you coming home in second, and we'll see you next week. Anybody you want to thank real quick?
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I got to thank Jeff Ford, for everybody that's watching that's unaware. For an entry-level series to be given an award like a top-of-the-line computer, it's a pretty big deal. So he must be an awesome guy to really be willing to do that, and it says a lot for the series too. The series has a reputation, and just pleasure to be here. So thanks to you guys, and thanks to them.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time, Steve. Again, congrats on your second place finish. And we're going to throw it over to Ben Kilcrease, who's caught up with tonight's winner, Byron Daly, for the Old School Graphics and Designs Victory Lane interview.
Thank you, John. Byron Daly heading into tonight had a best finish of 9th so far this season, and that came back at Rockingham, where he led quite a few laps. Was one of the favorites there to win. We won't talk about last weekend's 30th place finish, but tonight we'll just wipe all that clean. Byron, you're in victory lane here at Homestead. Man, oh man, talk about those last couple cautions. I know we were sweating up here, so I can just imagine you're probably soaked in the chair right there.
Yeah, I found a way to kind of screw up another race there at the beginning, and I thought to myself, well, the only way I was going to win was to try to outsmart everybody, and it somehow worked. Usually those things don't pan out for me, but yeah, it'd be nice to actually put together a race all the way and, you know, perform all night and, you know, end up here, but it's nice to steal one every once in a while as well.
There you go. Let's talk about that. You get into the wall early. That's the mistake you're talking about. And how hard is it? I know I've been in that seat before as a driver. You make a mistake early in the race.
To put together one race where nothing dumb happens, but like it's rare that you make a mistake like that and have everything work out for you that you end up still winning the race. These days with the damage the way it is, like it's hard to come back from a mistake like that and, you know, win the race deservingly. So to play a little strategy there and kind of, you know, like I said, outsmart the guys, it was fun to do.
Certainly worked out for you tonight. Byron, who you want to thank for putting you here in victory lane?
I just want to thank, you know, the Sim500 guys for putting on this league, let me go run with them and all that stuff. I guess for the entertainment group for sponsoring the series. It's just fun to get to go run leagues for fun and, you know, just enjoy iRacing again. So just thanks to those guys.
Well, we congratulate you on your win. Look forward to seeing you next week, maybe back in victory lane.
Thank you, guys.
Byron Daly, John from victory lane, and although he won the race, he's still annoyed at himself. How about that?
Hey, that's a good trait in a driver, though. Always looking to be better than what you were last week, man.
Man, oh man. So he thinks he snookered one. We think he played the cards right and ended up in victory lane. It's Byron Daly taking home the victory as we look at the final finishing results. Steve Sheehan, he'll come out with 38 points back to second, leaving tonight. Dave Comstock, third. Fourth, Chad Coleman. Jason Jacoby, after that bold move there right before the final caution, will finish out fifth. Sixth to Bobby Terrell. Nelson Rivera comes home eighth. Mike Kelly, who will come home ninth. Bobby Wetzel, good run for Bobby. He's had some horrible luck the first couple rounds. He'll come home ninth. And Jonathan Lockhart will round out the top 10 as the rest of the results will scroll across your screen there, John. A good race, one of the best so far this season, and that's saying a lot. I mean, all four of these races have been fantastic. I cannot wait for next week as we get set to do it all again. Just have to wait 7 days.
That's all, just 7 days. Ever. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun race at Darlington next week. Ben, I am really looking forward to it. I am hoping that Bobby, Chris, and Jimmy, the admins of this league, leave it on the schedule, but as you heard earlier by one of our interviewees, they are looking at some schedule changes, so that remains to be seen what's going to happen. But my vote's Darlington, man. It makes for some great racing. I don't care what car you're driving out there.
It does. Well, we'll keep you up to date. You can find us on Facebook, the Sim Racing Network. Also, be sure to check out the Sim500 guys, Sim500 Racing League, and Sim500.com. John, as we head out from South Florida here, any final thoughts from round 4?
I lost my sunscreen somewhere in the booth here, so if you step on it, be careful.
That's your final thoughts.
I tell you what, I want everybody to be safe out there tomorrow night on Halloween. No matter what you're wearing, please make sure that you are well lit, and by that I mean having some sort of a lighting object on your body so that traffic can see you. Make sure you kids let your parents check your candy before digging in. That's very important because sometimes you might get something that might be a little bit bad for you. Otherwise, folks, God bless you guys, and we'll see y'all next week.
There you have it. For all of us here at the Sim Racing Network, everybody at Sim500, we thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday night at Darlington. For John Mushton, Mitch Rollo, I am Ben Kilcrease. That'll do it for us here tonight at Homestead. We'll see you next week. Remember, when you're out there on the roads, to put that phone down. Good night from Florida.